back to the Flying Life channel. We got another first one here. This is going to be a first look at the new Walkera Rodeo 110. So this is a brand new FPV racer, micro quad from Walkera. It is not out yet. This is somewhat of a pre-production model. I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same when this thing is completely finished. I've seen some photos of some things with like red props and some red touches to it. They probably will do some Walkera logos maybe here or maybe on the battery strap, but for the most part this is going to be what this little guy is going to be. You know how it's built. For the most part it should be the same. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and take a look at what we're getting here. So this thing is really awesome. If you guys know me, you know my channel. You've seen the Walkeras on my channel before. Flying Life first on the Rodeo 150, and then of course we've got the F210. Really awesome FPV flyers. If you guys haven't checked those out, you gotta check them out. They're just tremendous packages. They have ready to fly and bind and fly packages. This quadcopter was provided by none other than Super Quad or Walkera Heli-USA. He's got a couple of different eBay and Amazon stores, and this was sent courtesy from him to share with you guys on the new 110 racer. So if you guys want to get into micro quadcopter, you like nice carbon fiber build, you're going to want to pick this one up. I've been flying it a little bit, not a ton, so this is not a full review. This is just going to be an inspection and just kind of showing you some flight footage. I will have some flight footage at the end of this, so you can kind of see my first impressions on it. As time progresses, I'll give you a full review on it, but so far it's really awesome. I love the way this thing flies. Very smooth, very expected. If you guys have ever flown the F210 or the Rodeo 150, you're gonna love this. It feels very similar. The tuning from Walkera, they do such a great job on tuning and really getting these things, you know, just flying like super solid. I really can't stress that enough. I've been, you know, testing a lot of different quadcopters and a lot of different FPV racers, and I think by far Walkera has got a superb product that is just really well tuned and really well thought of when they put these things together. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this little guy. So you've got that really nice Walkera, you know, look here on the front, that kind of a bug type look that we've come to love or hate depending on how you take it. But with the Walkera family, I love the design of Walkera. I think they do a really awesome job. We've got some really interesting propeller setup here. So as you know, Walkera likes to try to make their propellers and batteries and things kind of you know, proprietary so that they can get more funds. I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. It stinks sometimes because we have to try to find certain ways to make it work. You know, if you don't want to buy Walkera products for batteries and props. But anyways, we'll see if anybody comes out with props on these. I don't know if any exist, but you can see here, this is definitely proprietary on these propellers. You've got two screws that hold those down. And there are these little tiny guys here that you can see. So you've got two screws that hold that down, and it's just by a center shaft pin. So very interesting design. These are brushless motors, of course. So you're gonna have lots of power on these, and you've got your nice ESCs. Now I did wrap mine up with you know, some electrical tape because I was doing some outdoor winter flying, a lot of snow on the ground, so I didn't want to risk shorting that out. So if Walkera doesn't cover these up, because I have seen some photos where they have like these little block covers, you're definitely going to want to wrap those up. But I've seen a lot of other retailers are showing it just the way I'm showing it to you now. So it's very possible this might be the final product. I don't know, but it's awesome. The ESCs, you can see everything is nicely done. Everything's nicely put together here, but those are exposed. You wouldn't want to get anything in there that would you know, short those out, those ESCs and all that good stuff. So make sure you wrap those up with some electrical tape if it does come out that way. But anyways, that's what I did. Really interesting on the ESCs, the ways these are set up. You can see they're kind of on these little standoffs, and I've been wondering whether or not that if those standoffs would transfer some of the power, because carbon fiber is conductive. So that was a little bit of concern of mine, because the way that the wire's set right on top of that screw, on top of that screw, if I get it to focus for us, it's a little close, but I'm guessing it doesn't bother anything, because I've been flying it quite a few times, as much as I could with this terrible weather, and I haven't had any issues. So you can see here our landing legs are really nicely designed. That's going to definitely take a cue from the Rodeo 150 from that guy back there. But you know, kind of its own little design there. So really nice. The brushless motors have no markings on them whatsoever. Let's go ahead and take a measurement of the center prop shaft on here. So really small. Let's get this into millimeters here. So 1.4 millimeter prop shaft. So you're not going to be able to use normal size props with that, that I know of so far. If you guys do, I mean, definitely let us know in the comments. And our propellers are a tri-blade, which are about just shy of 2.5-inch props. And when those are on, you don't exactly have quite a bit of clearance, so you're definitely not going to be able to do anything bigger than that 2.5-inch propeller. So if we can get that in focus here for you, there you go. You can see it's really close. But the carbon fiber seems very sturdy. Like, we'll do a little bit of a flex test with it, and I really haven't seen that carbon fiber moving. It's a pretty good thickness, so I don't think that you should have an issue of that bending and hitting the canopy. So let's go ahead and take a measurement of that carbon fiber and see how thick that is. So hopefully you can see that here. I apologize about the lighting. So we got 2 millimeter, about 2 millimeter carbon fiber on this one, on the bottom plate. You do have a carbon fiber plate on the top, and it looks like kind of like a plastic resin that they use on the side here. So let's take a look at the top plate and see if we can try to get an idea of thickness there. Not exactly anywhere to grab. The fit and finish on this thing is really nice, but let's just see if we can do it by eye here. I really can't get a good grasp on that. Really looks like it's going to be probably about 1.5. Just trying to guess 1.5-ish. Probably somewhere right around there on the top plate of the carbon fiber. Again, that's just giving extra rigidity to the quadcopter right up top. So that's really nice. I really love how this is all nicely enclosed. And then, as you know, Walkera really does a nice job on trying to make their products modular. The Rodeo 150 was a little bit tough. If you broke this frame, it was a bit of a task depending on what needed to be fixed. A lot of desoldering and soldering and tiny wires, and a lot of little pieces on the inside. Not too terrible, but definitely time consuming with that. So hopefully this will be a little bit easier for most people. The soldering points for your ESCs to your motors are right there, nice and easy to get. And these ESCs are modular, so you're going to be able to disconnect those right there from the sides. Real simple. So at least that's what they're stating. I haven't taken it apart, but that looks pretty nice. You do have a 600 TVL camera up front as well. I'm sure that's probably a CMOS camera up front there, but we'll definitely take a look at the FPV. Today we're just looking at just an overview. So nice canopy. I think that'll protect the camera up front pretty nicely, and then you've got a nice bright LED in the front as well. Everything is very smooth, very clean on the bottom of the quadcopter, except for my tape that you can see. Everything is held down by screws. So you've just got normal Phillips screws on the bottom of this. So no more Allens on these, so it's a little interesting that they did that, at least from everything on the frame portion. The motors are held down that way, the frame's held down together that way, everything is held down that way. So really really nice. Let's go ahead and look at the bottom here again one more time. So you can see here we do have a switch. I don't know if you can see that in there. I can't get the lighting just right. There you go. There is a switch inside of there. Might be for lighting, I'm not sure. We'll definitely have to take a look, and I think this is going to be for an external S-Bus or PPM receiver if you're going to use that. I believe what that port there is on the bottom. And then up top here, you're going to have your VTX for your video transmission. So this is supposed to be 40 channels, so we'll try to investigate that. But you do have your dip switches, and then you have your switch right here for changing channels right up top. You can also see your antenna as well, which is plugged in right here. So that's interesting that they have that exposed like that. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure why they did that. Maybe just to have some adjustment. I'm not real sure, but anyways, now this little guy here, this doesn't actually come with the quadcopter. So this is running a JST connector. It is not an EC2 like it was with the Rodeo 150. So this is a JST connector. The batteries will be a JST, and the batteries are supposed to be 850 milliamp, 2-cell, 7.4 volts with 25C discharge. So I've been flying this with the Rodeo 150 batteries because I was not sent batteries with it, which are 850 milliamp. These are Walkera batteries. These are 30C discharge rated on the battery, so they might be discharging that power a little bit quicker. So flight times might be shortened because of that. Of course, this really frigid weather was really shortened as well for the flight. But it gives a little bit more punch with a little bit higher discharge rating. But nonetheless, JST connector. So great news, everybody. You can use all kinds of different batteries, but as long as it fits in this bay. So that's the next thing here. If you do have a Rodeo 150, you're going to want to make one of these little EC2 to JST connectors like I did. I just got the pieces. It cost me maybe $3-4, something like that, and just soldered it together. Or you can even buy these online, done up like this with the male JST to the EC2 connector. So that way I can use all of my Rodeo 150 batteries with this little guy. So taking a look at the battery, so I imagine that the factory battery is going to be exactly the same size because it looks exactly the same online that I've seen so far with the pictures. So again, giving you dimensions on the battery itself, you're looking at 53.7 millimeters, and on the thickness 14.3 millimeters, and then across here, let's do the bottom, you're looking at approximately 29.5 millimeters. So, and that really gives you the space that's inside of here. You've got just a smidge of extra space there. See if we can try to give you an idea of how much extra space you've got. Probably about 3.9 millimeters of space in between the battery and the actual body. So it's very, very limited. You're not going to have a ton of space there. So let's just show you the battery tray here as well, so you can get an idea of what we're looking at on the battery tray. So on the battery tray, we're looking at about 58.4, 58.5, 4.4 millimeters in length, and then in maximum width, which is between these straps. I'm going to place it because the straps are integrated into the body. Looks like about 30, right around 30 millimeters in between these two straps. Now you could go a little bit over, and hopefully the strap should hold it, but there is limited strap too with this. You would have to take this all apart if you wanted to use a taller battery with this little guy, because once you get this thing in here, there's really not a ton of battery strap to go. The way that I've been hooking this up, again, obviously with my little adapter, but nonetheless, I actually placed this because this is such a small frame that any little movement on this battery and you're going to hit your props and you're going to crash. It's not going to be fun. So what I do is I've just put this little balance lead right here up front between the forward portion of the canopy and the battery, and then I run my wire across the top, and then connect my adapter. So if you're using an adapter, if you're using a factory battery, it might not be as long, but then you can actually just take that and strap it all down, just like so. But I'll show you here. Once you have everything strapped down, there's not a ton of room there for much else. I mean, you might be able to go right about there, but not by much. So again, Rodeo 150 batteries will fit on the quadcopter just fine, and it sits in there really nicely. So awesome little design. Like the build on it, like these little brushless motors. They're listed on their websites right now as let's see, WKWS-13002A, and then the flight time is supposed to be approximately 8 minutes. Now, my flight times have been super short. I am using a higher discharge LiPo battery, and my flight outside in the next video that you'll see was frigid temperatures. So keep that in mind. When I did some indoor flying, which I will share with you as well, I did not have that much of an issue with it. The one thing on this quadcopter with the FPV antenna, so you have your 5.8 gigahertz antenna. It's all built in here. So you've just got this little simple, dipole, monopole, or however these call these little antennas set up here. So you don't have a circular polarized antenna, which is unfortunate. And just from the way that this is designed, I really don't think that you're going to be able to switch this out unless you really did some modifications to put a circular polarized antenna on it. But keep this in mind. This is a micro quad, okay? This isn't something that you're going to want to fly really far away like you do with the F210 or maybe even the Rodeo 150. You're going to want to keep this relatively close. This is a nice option for possibly indoor FPV, shall I say. We're definitely going to want to see some 3D printed guys out there and make some prop guards. But indoor flying, close proximity flying, that's where this is going to shine. So there is two different transmissions available for this. There's supposed to be a 25 megawatt for anyone, in Europe, as far as I know. And then, of course, us guys in the U.S. with FCC will get 100 megawatts on that. So it'll give us a little bit longer distance for that. And the transmission distance is supposed to be somewhere right around 500 meters, for this guy. So I really don't think most of us are going to fly him that far, because you lose line of sight of this thing, man. It's just gone. I mean, this is a tiny little guy. But just really awesome. I love the design. I really can't wait for better weather. But nonetheless, it's here. The new Rodeo, just really sweet. Let's go ahead and throw it on the scale and see what this thing weighs. And I'm going to use this battery. It should weigh about the same as the stock battery. It's the same milliamp size. So let's go ahead and throw it on the scale, and you guys can see how much it weighs. Make sure we were on it right here. No, you can't really see the screen there. And we're at 5.2 ounces. So nice and lightweight. That is with the battery. You do get a full set of spare props as well with this quad when you get it. And then if you get the ready to fly version, you will get the Devo 7, which is all ready to go. And by the way, if you've got a Devo 7 from any of these guys, or you have a Devo, you can pair it right up to the Rodeo 110. No issues here required. Now there is a failsafe on the here that does work as well. I know that's a big question for a lot of people. Unfortunately, it does take about 8 seconds to kill the motor. So if you fly this thing too far away and you lose transmission, it's going to keep flying for 8 seconds. Good luck finding your Rodeo after that. But it does have a built-in buzzer, just like all of them, and it does have a low voltage warning as well through the buzzer. So let's go ahead and I'm going to hook up my adapter here real quick, and then we're going to take a look and see how this thing looks with the lights on. And then I'm going to do just a little binding example here so you guys can see how this thing binds. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and plug in our little JST connector. And with the Walkeras, for me, they've always been a little bit backwards. And we're going to go ahead and turn on our transmitter. it's going to read right away, and you're going to see, now this transmitter is from my F210, and it works with all my rodeos. I've never had to bind anything with these bind and flies. They just hook right up to my transmitter. So it has the normal arming, so lower left to arm the motors, and that will spool them up, as you can see, and then lower right will turn it off. There is no idle like it was with the first rodeo. The black one did not, but anyways, no idle speed on that. And then you're going to have your switches here for your flight mode. So you're going to have your self-stabilizing mode or angle mode. Your center mode is going to be horizon mode, so you can get a little bit further pitch angles and roll angles to it, and be able to actually do flips. And then you're going to have full acro as well, so you can really get into it and really dive this quadcopter down and really get some aggressive pitch angles to it and do some sweet flips. This camera here is adjustable. You do have to adjust it, so for you guys who are going to fly these things just super aggressively, you do have to loosen these little screws here on the sides, and then you can adjust that camera. You can see there all the way up. That's the highest that you can go with it. That is super aggressive flying there. I mean, that's right about there. So really nice adjustments there on the FPV camera. We've got our nice bright LED that we're used to with Walkera, so really sharp there. And then this one does have some LEDs on the rear, so I think that they were listening to us, you know, wanting some LEDs on the rear of the quadcopter. I get my camera to focus here. So getting some red LEDs on the rear, which is pretty nice. I think that would probably help with orientation at nighttime a little bit, but they are kind of recessed a little bit, and they're not super bright. During the day, I couldn't tell that they were there at all, but nonetheless, they're there, so that's nice. And the super nice bright spotlight on the front. Not sure if you're going to be able to fly this as a night flyer, but this spotlight is super bright on the front of this quadcopter. So nice little setup, nice little LEDs. The battery strap is a nice touch. It's all integrated in, so you don't have to mess with it too much as far as trying to adjust and move the battery strap around. It's already set in there for you, ready to go. So awesome little FPV flyer. I like it so far. Again, this is not a full review. This is just a brief kind of overview of what the quadcopter is and how everything's built. So seems really sturdy. I love that they went with carbon fiber. I really just love Walkera line. If you guys haven't checked Walkera out, check them out. Again, I will have a link in the description below where you can pick it up once they're available. They're not available right now. Walkera Heli USA, aka Super Quad, Amazon, eBay. His store is shut down right now for the holiday, but he will be back up. And these aren't supposed to be available until after Christmas for sale and being shipped out. And he will have them at a U.S. warehouse in California, so they will ship quick. And he's always very aggressive on prices to move these quadcopters. So that was a quick overview and a first look from the Flying Life channel on the new Walkera Rodeo 110. I hope you guys liked it. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I will try to answer them if I can. I'm not an expert, but I'm learning and I'm figuring this stuff out, so we'll figure it out together. And as always, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. I will have more awesome quadcopters coming, more additional reviews, more videos of the Walkera Rodeo, more importantly, coming out as time progresses as well. And if you haven't already, please do so. So, if you have any questions, like I said, let me know. We'll see you on the next one. Happy flying life, everyone.